Hey everybody, Garrett Rumley here with Duty to Trend. I think there is a good possibility that there are literally hundreds of thousands of terrorists in America, and the reason why is the southern border. So I want to talk about this quickly because, frankly, it's something that's really concerning. And if you haven't thought about it, I mean, there is really good reason to be concerned about what's going on. It's more than just, oh, people coming through. There are people in America or in the world that hate America, and they can literally just walk through the border and come on in. So I want to talk about this quickly because I think there's real reason for concern about the future, possible terrorist attacks, and I don't think it's fear mongering to say that. I think it's just part of reality. So first, I want to show you the statistics from the Customs and Border Control. Look at these numbers. So this is from the cbp.gov website. Look at this right here at the top. And look at these numbers. This is just from 2021 to 2024. Okay, so when people talk about how Biden has literally let the border just wide open, I haven't seen these numbers before. I was looking it up this morning, and look at this: 90, 89, 9, and this is by October through September of 2021. So started at 90,000, ended at 213. 22, 187 to 272, 271 or 278. I mean, look at these numbers. This is how many people are coming. These are encounter counts. So, okay, maybe not all of these people, I guess, might be getting through. But if they're having this many encounters and we're not drastically increasing our border patrol, this is real cause for concern. And the reason why is because, listen, there are so many countries in the world right now that hate America and want to bring us down. And if you were one of these countries and you wanted to attack the US, right? You have to like war game from their position. If you wanted to attack the US, how would you do it? If you had an open border where you could just send literally tens or hundreds of thousands of people in like your army, your military, your terrorist group. I mean, Hezbollah right now could literally be sending 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people per month through the border. And we would have no idea. They could be like, hey, go hang out in Chicago, go hang out in San Diego, go hang out in New York, go hang out in Miami, and then we'll let you know. And just a huge attack all at once. I have been, listening to some pretty mainstream people, and this is like, a lot of people are talking about this right now. And if you haven't thought about this, you're doing yourself a disservice because there could literally be millions of people in America who are here to attack us, and we have no idea. I mean, this is wild, and it's really, really a good reason to be concerned. And we have no idea who's coming through the border. Some of them probably want asylum. Some of them are kids. But like all those people right there, those are military-aged fighting men, and we're just letting them into our country. That's crazy, and you almost have to wonder, like, how are people not thinking about this? People are like, oh, conspiracy theories. But, like, why are people in Washington not thinking about the fact that, if you were lived in China, if you were Iran, if you were not lived in China, but, like, if you were part of the Chinese government, and clearly they're competing with the U.S., right? If you were Russia, right, you wanted to take down the U.S., you wanted to be the superpower, would you not send tens, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people through our border so that you could do like one of the worst terrorist attacks of all time? Why wouldn't you do that? Why not? And the fact that the leaders of America aren't like considering this as like a real threat and a real possibility. And I feel like it's not only possible, it's probably more likely than not. Like if you were Hezbollah, you wouldn't be sending people through our southern border? Why not? Why wouldn't you? Give me a reason why you wouldn't be doing that. And then, you know, that's why I want to start talking about the news, and I want to start talking about my gun training, because You don't realize what's going on. You don't realize the ramifications of this. And you're just like hoping that the government's going to take care of you. They're not taking care of us now. And it's not crazy to say that, you know? It's not crazy to say that. You have to be prepared. You have to know how to defend yourself. Because, frankly, right now, the government's not doing that. It's not safe to let in people we don't know. There are evil people in the world, and we have to keep them at bay. And if our government's not going to keep them at bay by keeping them out of the country, you have to have the ability to keep them at bay by force. And the best way to do that is with my gun training program. It sounds like, I'm just shilling, but go buy a gun, get any gun training you want. You can sign up for ours for free and test it out. First 3 videos out of the 13 are free, and then you get like ebooks, and there's tons of training that you get. I think it's the best way for beginners to learn how to shoot a pistol. But if you want in-person training, then go get some in-person training. But if you don't own a gun right now, please consider buying a gun. This is why, times like this are why the Second Amendment was written. So do yourself a favor and go buy a gun, especially if you live in a city. If you live out in the countryside, I just don't think it's as big of a threat. But if you live in a city, there's real possibilities for harm right now. And things, again, I said this in yesterday's video, things keep ramping up. Stuff isn't dying down. It keeps ramping. And if you think this is just going to go away without any serious problems, I think that you are mistaken. And maybe it does. But I think there's a real possibility, and I think if you're being honest with yourself, you know this too. There's a real possibility that something could really go wrong. And maybe that's 10%, maybe it's 20%. I'm not saying it's 90%, but I'm saying it's high enough that you should consider buying a gun so that if something ever does happen, you're not scrambling trying to protect yourself. You're like, I've done all of my preparation. I sleep soundly at night knowing I have my guns, knowing that I can protect my family with force, because that's the only way you can. You have to be able to exert force. So please be prepared if something happens. And I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm really not. I know it sounds like I am. And I honestly had a hard time with this because it sounds like I'm shilling fear to sell my company, But I am concerned about the future, genuinely. I don't see how you can't be. And it's so easy to learn how to shoot a pistol. My program makes it so simple. And if you don't believe me, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. And I know I'm trying to just it sounds like I'm shilling. I'm not. And I'll probably just stop saying this, but because this is like the first couple of videos, I want people to know where I'm coming from. It's so easy to learn how to shoot a pistol, but don't learn at the range where there's tons of distractions. Learn at home, especially people who are nervous about guns. Most people who have guns already, don't have a problem going and getting training because they already have guns. They're pretty comfortable. But a lot of people, I feel like, want a gun because stuff's getting a little crazy, but then they're nervous about buying one and training with it because they're like, oh, I don't want to shoot and stuff. It's like, don't go shoot first. Practice at home, dry fire practice, which dry fire practice is just when you pull the trigger like this and the gun is empty, so that way there's no explosion, right? So you can really focus on proper grip, trigger control, aiming, right? Follow through, all the other things that I teach in my course, and there's a defensive emphasis. I emphasize defensive shooting techniques so that you can defend yourself. So please at least go get the free version. It's safety, grip, and then sight alignment. So see if it's for you. And if you don't want to do a course like that, then make sure you're trained, because a gun doesn't do you any good. You're not going to rise to the occasion if you don't have training, right? You're just not. You're going to panic, fighting a cold. You're going to panic, and you're not going to be able to perform under high stress situations. I've never been in that situation myself. I'm a Marine Corps champion pistol shooter. I went to Afghanistan. I never saw combat. I've never used a weapon, so I don't know how I'm going to perform. But I'm pretty well trained and I practice, and that's all I can do. So I'm not going to stress out about all the things that might go wrong. I've done the preparation, and that's what makes me sleep at night. So I think that you should do that as well. Until next time, stay safe, live free. know what's going on. You know, you don't have to live in fear. You don't have to live in fear. But if you don't own a gun, I'd be a little concerned right now, and I'm being genuine. I say this to family members. I'm like, you know, if you don't have a gun, you should get a gun, and most people in my family do. But you should be concerned if you don't have a way to defend yourself. But if you do have a way to defend yourself, then it's fine. You know, bullies prey on the weak; they don't prey on the strong. You know, there's plenty of weak people in America, and it sounds bad. You just have to be tougher than the weaker ones, and then you're a lot safer. So, be safe, live free. Talk to you later. See ya.